From the moment humans first looked up, space felt like freedom, an endless dark ocean scattered with lights. No walls, no ceiling, no edge, just distance stretching forever in every direction. The sky never pushed back. It never closed in. It never said, stop. So we learned to imagine the universe as open, infinitely wide, endlessly empty, offering unlimited room to move, explore, and escape. This intuition feels so natural that we rarely question it. But intuition did not evolve to understand the universe. It evolved to navigate forests, cliffs, predators, and daylight, not curved space-time, cosmic expansion, or relativistic horizons. Our sense of open space comes from walking on flat ground, throwing objects through air and seeing distances shrink as we approach them. The universe does not behave that way, and the deeper physics goes, the more our everyday understanding of inside and outside begins to dissolve, because space is not just a container. It is an active structure. When we imagine being trapped, we imagine walls, boundaries, something physical stopping us. A prison has edges you can touch, a hole has a bottom, a cage has bars. But the universe does not need walls to impose limits. It uses geometry. To understand why the universe feels open, we need to understand how deeply our brains rely on a specific assumption, that space is flat, empty, and passive. On Earth, this assumption works beautifully. Over short distances, space behaves almost exactly the way we expect. Straight lines stay straight. Parallel paths never meet. Objects move through space, but space itself stays still. This experience trains our intuition from childhood. So when we imagine the cosmos, we simply scale this experience upward. Bigger distances, more emptiness, same rules. But physics tells a very different story. Space is not empty. Even in the darkest void between galaxies, space is filled with fields, energy, fluctuations, and structure. It has properties. It can stretch. It can curve. It can ripple. And most importantly, it can limit. Not by blocking motion, but by shaping what motion means. In Einstein's universe, gravity is not a force pulling objects through space. It is space itself bending. Matter tells space-time how to curve, and space-time tells matter how to move. This changes everything, because once space can curve, the idea of straight ahead forever becomes meaningless. A straight path in curved space may loop, or converge, or diverge, or end without ending. On the surface of a sphere, you can walk forever without hitting an edge, and still never escape the surface. No wall stops you, no boundary announces itself, and yet you are undeniably contained. This is the first crack in our intuition. The universe could be finite without being closed off, bounded without borders, limited without barriers, and this is why the idea of being inside something larger does not require an outside at all. When cosmologists talk about the shape of the universe, they do not ask whether it has an edge. They ask how space behaves globally, whether it is flat, positively curved, or negatively curved. These are not abstract math games. They determine what is possible. In a curved universe, parallel lines may meet, volumes may grow faster or slower than expected. Light paths may bend not because something pulls them, but because space itself is shaped that way, and this shaping quietly decides what we can ever observe. We already live inside a boundary, not a wall, but a horizon. The observable universe is not the whole universe. It is simply the region from which light has had enough time to reach us since the beginning of cosmic expansion. Beyond that distance, galaxies exist, but their light will never arrive here, not because something blocks it, but because space itself expands faster than light can cross it. This is where open begins to feel misleading. Because nothing feels more open than looking into a sky filled with galaxies, yet most of the universe is already unreachable. Not someday. Already. Even if we waited forever. Even if we travelled at the maximum speed allowed by physics. Even if we built technology beyond imagination. There are regions of reality permanently cut off from us by geometry and expansion alone. This is not imprisonment in the emotional sense, but it is limitation in the physical sense. And limitation does not require intention. The universe does not trap us. It simply unfolds according to rules that do not care about escape. What makes this unsettling is how invisible these limits are. There is no signpost marking the cosmic horizon, no sudden darkness, no edge in the sky. The universe looks the same in every direction, smooth, continuous, open, but that openness is local, not global. It is how space feels from inside it. Just as the surface of Earth feels flat when you stand on it, even though it curves into itself. This is why inside is such a dangerous word in cosmology. Inside usually implies something enclosing from the outside, but in physics, structure does not require enclosure. A system can be self-contained purely through geometry. The universe may not sit inside something larger, but it may still function like an interior, a self-contained region with internal rules, horizons, and limits that cannot be crossed from within. And if that is true, then our sense of cosmic freedom is not wrong, but incomplete. We are free to move locally, free to explore nearby structure, free to learn, but not free to access everything that exists. This is not pessimism. It is realism, and it raises a deeper question. If the universe feels open but is functionally limited, what does trapped actually mean? Being trapped does not always mean being confined by force. Sometimes it means being embedded in a system whose structure defines what is possible. Fish are not trapped by water, but they cannot leave it. Cells are not trapped by bodies, but they cannot survive outside them. Thoughts are not trapped by brains, but they do not exist elsewhere. In each case, the environment is not a prison, it is a condition. The universe may be our condition, and recognizing that does not diminish us. It grounds us. Because if the universe feels open, it is because from within, structure always feels like space rather than constraint. This is the quiet danger of intuition. It tells us how things feel, not how they are. And as we move deeper into cosmology, physics keeps reminding us that feeling open does not mean being unbounded. In the next part, we will encounter something even stranger, not geometry, not curvature, but horizons, boundaries that act like walls without being walls at all, invisible limits written into space-time itself. There are walls in the universe, not made of stone, not made of energy, not even made of matter. They have no surface you can touch, no outline you can see, no warning signs. And yet, they are absolute. They are called horizons. Horizons are not objects, they are consequences. They appear not because something blocks your path, but because space and time themselves behave in a particular way. They emerge from motion, expansion, and limits built into the structure of reality, and once they exist, they quietly divide the universe into what can be known and what never will be. We tend to think of horizons as visual things, the line where the sky meets the ground, the edge of the ocean, the place where visibility ends, but cosmic horizons are far stranger. They are not about what you can see. They are about what can ever reach you. In everyday life, distance is simple. If something is far away, you wait longer to see it. Eventually, the signal arrives, light travels, sound travels, information moves through space. But in the universe at large, distance is not the only variable. Space itself expands, and that changes everything. When the universe expands, galaxies are not flying through space like debris from an explosion. Instead, space itself stretches. The distance between objects grows, even if they are perfectly still. This means there is a race happening everywhere, all the time. Light is trying to cross space. Space is trying to grow, and sometimes space wins. When expansion outpaces the ability of light to travel, a horizon forms. Beyond that point, signals cannot reach us, not because they are blocked, but because the distance increases faster than they can close it. This is the first invisible wall, the cosmic horizon. It marks the boundary of the observable universe, not the edge of existence, but the edge of access. Beyond it, galaxies exist, events occur, stars are born and die, and none of it can ever affect us. Not now, not later, not ever. This is not a technological limitation. It is not something future science will solve. No engine can outrun the structure of space-time itself. The horizon is not saying you are forbidden, it is saying you are too late. Light from those regions has not arrived yet, and never will. The expansion has stretched the distance too far, too fast. So even though the universe feels open, even though nothing seems to block our view, we are already enclosed within a bubble of causality. Everything we will ever observe lies inside it. Everything else might as well not exist, as far as interaction is concerned. And yet, the sky gives no hint of this. The universe looks the same in every direction. No curtain, no fade to black, no visible boundary. The horizon is mathematical, not visual. This is why horizons feel unsettling. They create limits without edges. Another kind of horizon exists closer to home, and it feels even more like a trap.